Good evening to everybody. I am Dr. MOHAMMED HOSSAIN, doing PhD now, and I'm associated with the Department of Bioscience in CCOM Skills University, Bolpur, West Bengal. Now, this is a part of my thesis. The subject is association of breastfeeding with respiratory and gastrointestinal infections in infants of Muslim mothers of Kolkata. Actually, my topic is practice of infant feeding among Muslim mothers of Kolkata. But I'm sharing a part of my thesis, which goes by the title, which I've already given about. This is association of breastfeeding with respiratory and GI infection in infants. So let us start with this presentation with introduction. And we know all that breast milk remains the ideal food for the infants, and no other foods are required for the infants except breast milk till the 6 months of age. After 6 months, we can supplement with other foods as take different types of foods, but in proper amount. And on an average, a Indian mother she secretes 450 ml to 600 ml of milk daily, and it is full of antimicrobial factors. It contains lysozyme, macrophages, IgA. So many antibodies are there which protect the infants from these two major diseases. It is very digestible, very cheap, clean, and it meets all the nutritional requirements of the infants as depicted in the ICMR model. Now, this is the first vaccine a child gets. And if we find out some data from the National Family Health Service data, West Bengal, we find that 41.6% of children, they start with the breastfeeding within an hour. This number is quite low, because it should be around 80 to 100%. Again, this 54.9% of the newborns under 6 months of age had EBF, exclusive breastfeeding, which means that a child should take only breastfeeding and not any other feedings up to 6 months. But the data we shows here, it is 54.9%. This is also quite low. 42.7% of children from 6 to 8 months received solid. This means these are the supplementary foods which the children get after they cross 6 months. But this is also very much low, because all the 90 to 100% of children should receive supplemental breastfeeding. Then, if you come to these are the data which are from the Government of India data, from the state level, from the central level of NFHS. But if you come to the state data, there we have find that 48.2% of children, they started initiation of breastfeeding within an hour. This is quite also low. But you can say that both the figures are quite same, very near to each other. 61.6% of children had EBF, a slight increase there. 46.3% of children received some types of solid or semi-solid food between 6 to 8 months. Although it should also be more. Only 36% of the mothers. Only 36% of the mothers discard cholesterol. Now you see that this cholesterol is the first milk, or you can say it is the gold milk, which comes from within 1 to 2 days. Now this figure is 36%, means this should be lesser. Yes, it is quite encouraging to note that around 63% of mothers are not discarding the colostrum. So this is quite encouraging. And breastfeeding initiated within less an hour is 20%. In the breastfeeding initiated within 1 hour could prevent 20% of the newborn deaths. This figure is very, very important. And one thing is more important, which I like to highlight, that as regards this paper, non-breastfed infants are 15 times more likely to die of pneumonia and 11 times due to diarrhea if they are not breastfed. So we should learn from here that how important breastfeeding is, because breastfeeding inhibits occurrence of both pneumonia and diarrhea. Now, according to the 10th five-year plan, initiation of the breastfeeding should go from 15.8% to 50%. Now it is quite also high, because the 11th family final year planning, it was I'm giving the data because this data is according to when I started my research 3 years back. Promotion of exclusive breastfeeding, only breastfeeding up to 6 months, and no other food, that should be taken from 55% to 80%. So this is the other targets. Enhancement of complementary feedings from at 6 months from 30. I have already shown you the data, so it should be from 33.5% to 75%. And in Muslim countries, like for example, I have given in Bangladesh, only 37% of mothers had exclusively breastfeeding. Very, very low, very, very low. Another study in the Bangladesh, they said that it was around 50% EBF, when it should be around between 18 to 100%. So these are the things which I have noted in the data, and my suspicion was that what is happening actually in Kolkata, where in the slums and in those slums which are inhabited only with Muslims. So there are no such research has been done till date on examining the infant feeding among the Muslim mothers of Kolkata. Yes, there have been many research on heterogeneous groups of population, but not particular type of this study. So yes. So my general objective of the thesis was to study infant feeding practices among Muslim women in Calcutta, and the paper which I am now presenting, the part of my study is association of breastfeeding with respiratory RRI. Methodology, it was descriptive observational study, and we examined 540 Muslim mothers. They have infants. And we had two groups of babies. One age was below 6 months, and around 300 mothers were questioned. And the other group was from 6 months to 11 months, below 12 months of age. Why? Because these 300 mothers, from them I can able to see how was the feeding pattern. That means EBF and initiation of breastfeeding. And among the 240 mothers, I will be able to visualize what is the state of the supplementary food with the infant should get. Study population 18 to 45 mothers were aged around this 540 total mothers. The survey was carried out from 2017 1st November and ended 31st October. And we used the data collection method as mothers interview through a proper designed already tested questionnaire and anthropometric measurements, and the data was analyzed by EP Info version of Center for Disease Control, Atlanta in USA. And the point of significance, the statistical significance was kept at less than 0.05. Now, the questionnaire were in that format we used, and we tested it also. It had both the closed and open-ended questions. Infantometer was there. We could see the heights and all that, so that the baby, and we could weigh the we could take the weight of the baby. And there were three sections also. First section regarding this geographical, demographic study was there. Then the second section said regarding the EBFA, and the other was the question of complementary feeding. The study was carried out in 6 Muslim-dominated localities of Kolkata. These are the areas: Motijil, Bibagan, Tanda, Chatubabu Land, Ripon Street, and Razabazaar. So these are the areas which are slums in Kolkata, and this is a totally dominant Muslim-dominated areas. So my vision was to see that what is the feeding pattern in these areas. Although there were other 4 areas, but we studied it on the ground that to cut out the bias, because there were some homogeneous populations also. So if there is a effect of that flooded society on these slums, then I will not get the true picture what is actually happening with these low socio-economic groups of the Muslim women. So that's why we took it. These are the 6 areas which we selected. Now, I am presenting you this the first slide, which is saying regarding this breastfeeding and diarrhea, occurrence of diarrhea. You see that among 540 children, 444 had no diarrhea, and they were all breastfed, and only 96, that means 17.78%, they had diarrhea. So this though it was not significant, but we got this, and it is quite giving reflection that the breastfeeding child is not having diarrhea. That means they don't run the risk of diarrhea. You can see in the graph also the same things we can clearly see. Now, if we come to the RTI, respiratory tract infections, among 550 children, you see 377, that means 69.81%, they don't have occurrence of episodes of respiratory tract infection. So only 30.19% they had this. It clearly declares that this is breastfeeding helps in initiating the immune mechanism in the infants. More and more IgA secretory bodies starts pouring in, more macrophages coming in, more lysozymes are coming in. So these are the immune modulators, or these are immunoglobulins which are helping the or protecting the child from these 2 major diseases. Then we come to the association of the diarrhea with the duration of feeding. Now, what is the impact of duration of feeding on diarrhea? If we start from you can see from here in the graph. If we start from here, you see this is the brown, and this is the brown bar, which says that these are the episodes where no diarrhea was there. This is the percentage of no diarrhea. So in the children, in the infants less than 1 month, no diarrhea was 88.89%. So you see these are the brown colored this bar, which tells us that the highest number of children not having diarrhea is in this age group. Then again, why it is coming out a little bit less than the expected value? Because after 6 months, most of the mothers start feeding the child with tin foods. So definitely, many of them start having RTI, diarrhea. So if you can follow it, if you can follow this from less than 1 month, you can see from 1 month, then 2 months, 3 months, there was some dip, but again it's rising, because by this time the mother's immunity starts coming, and the body's infant's own body immunoglobulin start rising. So there is a slight dip, but still there is a rise in the no diarrhea. Means no diarrhea percentage is rising. So from this we can conclude that the breastfeeding has enormous beneficial effect in reducing the disposal of diarrhea as days pass, from right from the birth of the child up to or greater than 6 months. Then again the same thing in the RTI also, duration. You see this this brown is episodes of RTI percentage. So it was very high. No RTI percentage was very high. In less than 1 month, there was slight dip, but it starts going, and there was slight dip, but we can say that definitely RTI episodes becoming coming down as the age of the infants advances. Now, what is the association of the diarrhea with colostrum feeding? Mother is giving child colostrum. That is the first part of the breast milk, and we can say that is the gold milk, because it has enormous amount of highest quantity of vitamins, minerals, and immunoglobulins. So let us see. You see this blue, these episodes of diarrhea, no. So the highest frequency is there, 334. That means colostrum fed babies having no diarrhea is very high. And these also, they were fed colostrum, but they had diarrhea. This thing, it was around no. And they were also fed, but no diarrhea was there in this infants. Then, if we come to the other side also, if we compare with the diarrhea, and if you want to find the RTI with the colostrum feeding, what happens in case of respiratory infection? Is it coming down or is going up? We can see from this table and also from this graph that again the episodes of RTI frequency no is very, very high, 282. So children who are getting colostrum having no RTI is very good, 282. But you can say that what about this one? These are not feeding, but they are not having also episodes of RTI, which means the sum of the children they are being given cholesterol. Apart from cholesterol, they are giving some clean foods. That's why that there is this figure. But this figure is quite very, very, very high. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the presentation.